Imagine walking down the street with your spouse in the United States and participating in public displays of affection. If you are heterosexual, you have the privilege of participating in PDA and having members of your community condoning it or at least tolerating it. But if you were homosexual in the same situation, the experience would be completely different, even as the majority of states have legalized same-sex marriages. You see, according to Life Science, even if Americans are choosing to support the legal rights of members in the LGBT community, a large portion of Americans will still feel uncomfortable with homosexuals participating in PDA. With this, homosexuals participating in PDA get a mix of reactions, some ignoring, some judging, some staring, and in worst-case scenarios, harassment or hate crimes can commence. Without any real enforcement preventing these kinds of actions, homosexuals are being discriminated against not only in the United States but around the world as their human rights are being taken away. By looking at this map, taken from the Washington Post, you should notice that the majority of places either recognize same-sex relationships in some way or is relatively neutral. Let's take a closer look at some of these countries, specifically Sweden, Canada, London, Russia, Egypt, and Tokyo. Starting with countries west of Europe, there is an overall trend of not only accepting homosexuals, but also incorporating and changing the traditional ways in order to fit the lifestyles of those in the LGBT community. Looking at Sweden is not only given rights to homosexuals, but according to The Guardian, has also made it possible for transsexuals to thrive in a heterosexually dominated planet by having the gender-neutral pronoun hen added to their dictionary. Hen has grown popular in the transsexual and transgender community as a word that represents someone whose sex is unknown. By adding a gender-neutral pronoun, Sweden is allowing those in the LGBT community to be treated with the same respect as others. The trend of having those in the LGBT community to prosper is also taking place in Canada. Transgendered students have been demanding inclusive bathrooms for some time, and according to the Global News website of Canada, there is now a movement of universities implementing inclusive bathrooms to have an environment safe for all students. Before instituting inclusive bathrooms, homosexuals and transgendered individuals feared using public restrooms due to concerns of rape, crime, and other forms of violence. Now, by having inclusive restrooms, Canada is enforcing an environment of security for every student. It is difficult to acknowledge that being homosexual is normal if it is not seen in our day-to-day lives. Homosexuality may be legal, but it seems like there is a lack of entertainment that focuses on the lives of the LGBT community. According to Screen Daily, as well as The Guardian, London has decided to release 5 films worldwide whose plots revolve around someone in the LGBT community and their experiences with young love, older love, unrequited love, or learning what love is. This is not only being done to spread LGBT awareness and have something for those in the LGBT community to relate to, but also to have more people accept that love is a human right regardless of sexual orientation. Now looking at countries east of Europe, the conditions for those in the LGBT community do not fare as well, even as some of these countries have legalized same-sex relations. First, taking a look at Russia, according to the Washington Post, homosexual acts are illegal, but recent news on laws being enforced in Russia say otherwise. According to The Guardian, Russia has banned propaganda, and because of this, there has been a rise in homophobia across the country. This has also led to the dismissal of a teacher due to homosexuality, as well as the court rejecting the teacher's complaint. This goes completely against the right that all humans are entitled to equal protection against any discrimination and is in violation of the Declaration of Human Rights. A similar case took place in Egypt as a Libyan man was deported due to participating in homosexual acts. Though homosexual acts are illegal in Egypt, this in itself goes against the Declaration of Human Rights. Lastly, Tokyo is in the process of recognizing same-sex marriages in a small locale known as Shibuya. Historically, Japan has not had laws regarding same-sex relationships, making this one of the first places in Japan to recognize that all humans should be treated as equals. The key concept of this is to realize that because some countries are not enforcing the Declaration of Human Rights for members of the LGBT community, such as freedom of speech, being born free and equal in dignity and rights, security, and not being discriminated against, then this leads to more humans to not recognize homosexuality as okay due to socialization. But if countries begin to enforce human rights to all, then we are able to build a planet that is safer for all citizens of the world.
Created using Powtoon.